Okay, Mondays used to be always a massive mail day, and for me, I guess it is today. I got 3 things that came in the mail, and 3 different type of things. And we'll go through the first one here. And what I wanted to share with you is this patch I picked up, and the reason why I picked it up. Now look at the back of it. It is so brown. What happened is somebody glued it onto something, and the glue bled through the front of it. So this patch here was only one on the entire eBay. It's got a little bit of damage on the top here. Right there. Maybe there was a loop there. I don't know. Maybe it was just, damage to the thread. But this Program Planning Conference Explorers patch here, that would be cool to put on my backpack. And when I lay it like this, that brown coming through makes it look like it's been on there a while. This is the only one of these on the entire eBay. Some of these Explorer patches could be, $5, $15. I don't really know. But it was $1 plus $1 shipping. I was happy to take that. I was looking for, kind of abandoned patches on eBay and maybe damaged ones. I was able to scrape some of the glue off the back, so maybe that won't show up through as much, but that'll be perfect to go on my backpack. And I want to have maybe 1 or 2 other patches on the other side of it. So that was a cheap purchase. Very happy to get that one. The person, I think, got low feedback because I didn't necessarily mention all the damage on it, but just, use your eyes, I guess. Well, because I kind of saw there's some toning here, and I figured there was some sort of back damage. Somebody might complain, but you know what? You can't complain for $2. This is the only one that's 100% available, so I'm not worried about that one. This one here, they forgot to cancel the stamps on here, bozos. But they canceled the back of it from San Bernardino, California, so this is actually an autograph request. Can't save the envelope, so I have to rip it open to shreds. I have not opened it yet. You can see that there. I'll try to get through this fairly quickly here because I've got a box to open. Spoiler alert. And that will be... This is Pete... And I want to say it's Rickert, but I mean, people call him Reichert or Richard or Richer, but I think it's Pete Reichert, if I'm not mistaken. I've gotten him before, and he signed probably in the best place you probably could have without destroying his picture, and he signed right there below. This is a 1964 Topps. I had got him a long time ago, and I said, you know what, it's time to get him again on a set that I really enjoy, because I like this huge font and everything easy to read. The stats are not super easiest to read in that orange, but close enough, so one of the better cards out there to get signed. There's that one on the Dodgers. Now I got this one here from UMass BB Fan on Discogs, and he's in Massachusetts according to the label on here. The postage paid was $5.22. So there's that one, and I paid, most of that, and a little bit in additional to that. Usually you do. I actually happen to have a little razor thing here, so I can cut this open here very quickly here. I did not plan that, but that's just how it was. I was using that to clean the glue off the patch. And we'll open this up here, and this is from none other than Discogs. The only place I mean, there's a few other places that on eBay I could probably get, but I just don't know how quick the shipping would be. So I got 3 items from this person, I believe. I want to see what we have in here. So we'll go with the first one here. It's packed in this here, so I'm going to have to go do the tape thing here. This one, I want to say that if you bought 3 items, I think 3 or 4 items from this person, the shipping did not go up any. Oh, it's not cutting through. Even the sharpest razor blade on the planet. I'll have to almost could get this out of here. So this is, I want to say it's a flexi disc. Haven't had a chance to really get a good look at this here. This is a flexi disc, Joyful Noise Recordings, Sondre Lurch. I don't know how exactly to say that. Sondre Lurch, Take a Bow, on Joyful Noise. And I want to say that this is the sleeve. This is the clear vinyl right here, or whatever you want to call it, flexi disc here, from 2016. I don't know when this was put out or if this is part of something else here. It says March on the back of it, www.joyfulnoiserecordings.com, so maybe you went there and it was a bonus, or I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it was $3 for that one, so I figured I would add that because my order was going to be less than $10. I said, you know what, I should really get something from this seller and make it over $10, and they've already left me positive feedback, so I'll do that when I get a chance here. I'll try to get this back in here, so I'll probably just slip it in the back of the sleeve there. Well, the reason I got that, if I didn't really particularly care for it, my friend is collecting flexi discs here, and he'd probably be happy at the $3 price point. So that's when I picked that one up, either for me or for him. Now, I picked up 2 LPs here, and one of them I think I got suggested on eBay. I'm sorry, YouTube. And it was this one here. And I don't know why there's a big slash mark. You know, again, you never know what you're going to get with Discogs here. But someone took a Sharpie and slashed through there, and there used to be a price tag. So that's kind of unfortunate. But this also has the lent for promotional use only. Any sale or unauthorized transfer is prohibited and void. So one of those promotional records there in a sleeve here. Sometimes they don't always ship them in sleeves here. This one looks like it got kind of hot or something, because it's kind of puckered in the middle there. It's really weird. It's like something hot got sat on there. I just don't know. Very unusual. And then what do we got here? So we can get to it here. So this particular seller does what a lot of sellers do, is they put the inner sleeves and things in the back so they don't, you know, poke through or rip, I guess. But there's the inner sleeve, and I'll tell you who this is in just a second here. I did not know who they were, but the nightcaps. And this is their Go to the Line. I believe their song Go to the Line. This is on Sire Records. It doesn't have a ton of views. Several people sort of remember them. Oh, and they put a new inner sleeve there. That's interesting. An extra one there. Paper sleeve. But the Nightcaps, the lead singer, I want to say this guy right here, man, he just really just overdid it. And I was just really... in the music video, I was just like, this is crazy. This guy is as, you know, I didn't as much like the song, but I really enjoyed his performance in that. And I said, you know what, that will be good. And this was like, I think $1 or $2. It was not much, you know. So it was very, very cheap to get this one. Very happy. And this is circa like 79 or 80. Let me see if I can find the date here very quickly for you, so we don't have to worry about that later on here. Warner Brothers, Burbank, all that fun stuff. 1982 Sire Records Company. So there. Yeah, Go to the Line, I guess, was the one that you want to listen to for this particular one. Produced by Clive Langer and Alan Winstanley. So whatever that means. So there is that one. The Nightcaps Go to the Line. Hopefully you can see that well enough there. And the last one here, again, sometimes you just don't know with the pictures here. Not even actually sure if this was the cover that I seem to remember. This isn't quite a brown tone sleeve here. That's definitely got to be replaced. That, I'm sure, did not come with that original record. I am almost positive of that. So this one here is, I think, a mini LP, if I'm not mistaken. There's different versions of this, and I think this song might be on a soundtrack that I was looking for, and sadly, again, cut out there, which is, you know, something that I don't particularly care for at all. The sleeve is a little bit, you know, kind of puffy there, but it's probably, you know, humidity, that sort of thing, so that'll get figured out here. And who is this one here? Well, I couldn't find the cover. You know, sometimes you find a great cover, or say cover, but like artwork on the cover with the band sitting on there. This one does not have the band on it. Some guy sleeping there. It just says The Mood, Passion in the Dark Rooms, or something like that. The Mood, they have a song called Paris. There we go. Paris is One Day Away, and it's very 80s type of song. One of the guy kind of reminds me of Ricky Gervais when he was in an 80s band, kind of that look there. And they're just, you know, running around Paris following some, you know, lady or whatever, supermodel or something like that. And the end of the lead singer, I guess, ends up with her or something like that. It was just kind of, you know, at the coffee table or something like that. Or, you know, cafe table, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, she was ignoring him the whole video, I guess is what it was. So, and they were just singing Paris is One Day Away and lots of ooh la la type things in the song. And it's pretty funny, though. It's very 80s, and it would fit in any kind of retro soundtrack there. So I had to have a copy of that. Again, whoever had this might have come from the same collection, because there is an old price sticker there and a slash mark through there. So how bozo is that? And the sticker here is actually still gooey. That's still actively gooey. You know, that's very actively gooey. So I got to figure out how to clean that off without damaging anything. And that was sticking to the sleeve here. Now this is on RCA, if I can get to it here. And this sleeve here is just gotta go. It just, I don't know. I'll throw it in something older, but yeah, this yellow tone sleeve with a rip on it, just bye-bye. But the record looks like it's uber mint there, so I probably should have kept it in there. Oopsie daisies. But anyway, it's on Victor. It's Passion in Dark Rooms by The Mood. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs on it. So it's kind of like a mini LP, I guess is what you want to call it. Not really a 12-inch. I'm going to slip it in here so it doesn't get damaged. Hopefully there's no scratchers in there. So that is what that was, but it's a good time to talk about Discogs very quickly because I don't buy very much from Discogs because a lot of the stuff I find just disappears so quickly. But like The Mood, for whatever reason, there's plenty of copies of that available in all different varieties. But I wanted to go with the most affordable, practical type of thing just to get that song on there. Again, I would not know which version and which, would be the best sounding, etc., etc., etc. I don't know how that would even work there. But just for example, I was at Discogs here a minute ago. Let's get out of my Discogs order here. You don't need all my fun stuff here, but let's go back a page here. And let's see what we got here. You can see some other orders I have done here. Let's go back here. Let's go back again. And back again. I was looking at this Philadelphia music. Now, I don't know if I bought anything from them, but they had something ridiculous like 90,000 items. You could get stuck on Discogs, and the reason I like Discogs is not because that they're the best place in the world to get vinyl. They're practically the only place other than, individual websites that are promoting certain labels or different songs or club of the month type things. You can't get vinyl very often at any of the thrift or Goodwill stores that is even worth getting. Like this stuff here I bought is rock. You're not going to find rock at Goodwill. You're going to be paying $4 to $5 for that rock, and so I would be $15, and then I was $15 for these things on Discogs with a better, chance of getting something a little better condition without, somebody saying, yeah, I'm dumping at Goodwill, because most people take their records at Goodwill and they don't ever want to see them again. But this seller has 90,000 items, and what I have done for this particular one here is I have decided to go 1995 to 2025. So I want more or less modern releases. I guess I could do the 80s and stuff like there and filter out stuff. But once you start filtering out genres, like to electronic and stuff, then you still get people, like, I won't say Roberta Flack, but lots of artists that somebody just used some sort of, synthesized piano in the background. It's like, oh my gosh, this is not Duran Duran. This is not the electronic music I was looking for, sort of thing. So very frustrating how that is, I don't know, you might get Moog or something like that, but it's just like, no, it's not what I was thinking of, so... sometimes people think the instrument over the music or the singer, but I think usually the singer, like C.W. McCall, I would not, call him electronic, even if he used some sort of electronic machine to, alter his voice or something, or Breaker 19, that's not electronic when you're using a CB, but whatever. So there's all kinds of fun stuff, and again, most of these things are going to be 12 inches. They're going to be usually some sort of rap, collaborative group or remix that you've never even heard of. Most of these are going to be like generic covers, but I wanted to go to the lowest price, and they have bazillions at $1.50. Again, $1.50. Yeah, you have to work out the shipping, but if you buy crazy amounts from like some of these large vendor style people, one person said $6.50 for the first record, or $7 or $12 or whatever it was, and they said no more for any other records, up to 100 or more, something ridiculous. And I thought, well, that's awesome. That really is, because they have such a low intro, and into their records, they can get them for pennies on the dollar. Even though Goodwill doesn't pay anything for them, they charge dollars on the penny. So, and then lastly here, I have this They Might Be Giants John Henry album there on cassette, and I was listening to that, and you're just like, listening to that, you said your cassette player was broken, and I think you might have mentioned that your radio that you bought recently was toast. Well, turns out there was a switch on the back which I thought I had fiddled with, and I guess I hadn't moved it the right spot or whatever, but this radio seems to have kicked into life at this swap meet. And so I'll show that to you in a second. This is very, very kind of Stranger Things type of thing. It's Modulaire 850, so is this a Canadian version? I don't know. It's spelled L-A-I-R-E, Modulaire. I have no idea. But this is a realistic radio. Very ugly. Hideous looking, but, and the switches here are kind of bent, but everything works. The cassette decks work. They might be a little on the dirty side there, but need to be cleaning. and a little more dusting there. It does have the name of the orchestra, the school orchestra that used to own that or whatever, and some sort of silver paint pen or Sharpie there, which I can't seem to get off right now, but I got some dirt off the front of it. And I've always needed to replace the old broken stereo here, so I haven't plugged it in my computer yet because I'm not exactly sure all the wires and things that need to go back, but I've tried to save the wires back to where they were and figure out the settings in the computer, how to get it reset back to going through here instead of through the headphones or whatever, because I like using my headphones on this, so maybe that's what I throw my headphones on that, and that would work through this. So very, very cool there, and everything seems to work and light up. I can't remember if the light comes on. If I can find it, there's a little red indicator light that comes on there, so very, very cool. And I was only $5 into that, and I was all distressed because it was not working, and the speakers were unplugged when I got it, but that had nothing to do with anything. It just happened, I guess. Very, very cool. Like I said, I figured that the school orchestra or whatever should have taken better care of it, and they kind of did, I guess. And the funny thing about it is you look up this modular 850 realistic type of thing, and I've seen them around the $50 benchmark, and that's broken. Parts, only type of machines, but again, parts only, when you start breaking open these things, which are not meant to be really open in some cases, you may not want to get those, unless you can think you can repair it for whatever reason, because sometimes these switches and these other buttons and things are impossible to get to, and if I start unbending those flipper switches or whatever, indicator switches or whatever, I might break them in half, and then, oh my gosh, it's no good. And what's crazy about this one as well, too, as a bonus, the antenna was not busted. Can you believe that? The antenna was not busted. This is very Stranger Things circa 1985, 87, and 89 in that particular time frame there. Very, very cool. Maybe even farther back towards 83, but very, very happy to have that. And so it just, the shopping is slowing down. I was kind of depressed because I got this backpack, which I need to do some work on, and I got this, radio that was a dud at one point, but now it's working just fine for the moment. Very happy. I got a Discogs order that I'm going to listen to. But again, take a look at Paris is One Day Away by The Mood, and take a look at Go to the Line by the Nightcaps. And again, there, I'll try to give you a better look at the Nightcaps here. Try to pull this out of the sleeve here. That what just fell is not important. What just fell is actually a record that needs to go in the trash. But anyway, there are they again, and it was a really fun video, and that's what promoted me to buy this. I thought that was very, very cool. So hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.